Morning everyone, and welcome to this week's video. I thought I'd start this week where I left off, having an experiment with those colours, the cheaper ultramarine, the more spendy ultramarine, etc. And I've started on making a swatch for the greens. This is my blue, that's how I ended up. I think I've got everything on there. If I find more blues, I'll just add them in. But I think this is going to be so useful because it will enable me just to be able to hold a colour into a painting. And obviously going on from there, I can do some mixes, have colour mixes, but initially I just want to get the basic colours from the tube down. So I played around in Sketchbook and I got these 2 pages. I put another sheet, an A1 sheet down, ready to start another drawing. I had a message from Anne in Florida, hi Anne, and she prompted me by saying that she'd got down on the floor and it gave her a really exciting perspective for drawing her own chair. And I thought when I read it, I really want to have a go at that. And I found a really good spot. So I'll try and set the camera up. I want to try and show that it doesn't actually matter what you put on your sketchbook page, whatever sort of daubs you make on your sketchbook page. I could put some printing down on here, you could use the wallpaper, but I'm going to use a black pen and I'm going to have a go at drawing from sitting on the floor, the same green chair, different angle, and see if I can work something up on these 2 pages. That one's very strange. I'm going in with my scratchy brush, pretty dry paint here, just to give me a basic beginning for colouring up the chair. Once that's pretty much down, I do go in with a little bit of water and just start to blend it ever so lightly. The gel plate's back out, not to make gel prints, but I'm really enjoying using the plate and the roller to give myself a nice even coat on the wallpaper application. Pushing in the wallpaper then to the painting surface. I'm using quite a bit of pressure. I bring in my sketchbook here. Unfortunately, it's all too late. I've let the wallpaper with the paint dry out too much. There was no residue left, hardly at all on there. So I should have moved more quickly from pressing into the painting and then pressing directly into my sketchbook page. But I have another go in the sketchbook with fresh paint and get a much better result. This is what I've come down to this morning. I didn't do a great job of lining up my wallpaper, but I'm not worried. I'll see where that wants to go today. I might imply something of a rug on the floor, I don't know. But really, really good fun. It's so nice to see something different on the easel. I'm so loving the chair, the whole chair thing. Got down I'll drop a photo in. But I'm enjoying inventing, and I really do love those aqua pens. I always forget to say that they change, they shift in colour depending on the paint that's already down on your paper. And I like that, it's something unexpected. I like this colour shift. I put a little bit of white paint as a glaze over my 2 sketchbook pages, and that will enable me to go back in and strengthen in. But again, really, really good fun. It was a bit tricky seeing the black pen in amongst all that paint, but a very, very worthwhile exercise, I think. So don't discard or discount anything that you get in your sketchbook on your pages when you think they're unworkable. They're not, they are workable. Having said I'd start on my green swatches, yesterday was rainy and blowy and miserable, so I didn't get into the cabin except to whiz in and pick up my orange paints. So I think in amongst everything today, or this morning anyway, I'll make a start on some swatches of orange. I had 7 tubes of orange. There might be more, but at the moment I can lay my hands on 7 tubes of orange paint. From the fluorescent, this is a Liquitex soft body fluorescent orange, through, I'd also found in the pot Yes, that's a burnt sienna. That's a Winsor and Newton Professional burnt sienna. With the orange, I couldn't resist, and I know it's not just me that has a passion for orange and blue, the complementaries, because I read in the comments, I know quite a few of you love orange and blue. So I've had a dabble, I've had a play, and I've attempted a bit of lining up. I'm going to strengthen in with my black, but I'm quite happy with this blue. I'm quite happy with my zigzag rug, and I put on Instagram, am I clean? How this frame is surviving, I'm not quite sure. I've masked up again. I posted on Instagram, you have to photograph vertically, and so therefore I couldn't get the whole thing in. So I posted the centre section of this, and I had some nice comments. And I thought, actually, I was absolutely terrified of putting anything on Instagram, but it's just the best way. It's like having a catalogue. So it's quite interesting to scroll back down to see what I started posting in the beginning to what I'm posting now. So I would recommend, if you're even thinking about it that much, do it. It's really good to see your work and treat it. Don't worry about who likes it or any of that. Just treat it as a record, as your own, as another place to have a record, perhaps once a week, of what your art is of the week. And it means that I could have a look at what everyone's up to, because I'm so interested in seeing what you guys are doing. So somehow this frame I took all the tape off, and it's survived unscathed. I've retaped in a couple of places because I decided to put in those 2 black panels, but I really did enjoy the rug, so I've repeated the rug on this one. And obviously there's more to go, there's always more to go. I could strengthen in, and I'm tempted to strengthen up and block paint, if you like, my chair, but I'm also thinking I might just leave some of these marks. Can you believe it? I've just rubbed. The paint's not dry and I've just transferred it. It doesn't matter. I will not touch the frame with my blue paint. I haven't had my Lamy ink pen out for a while, and to my disappointment I reloaded a cartridge and it wasn't running. So it's obviously just dried up a little bit, and the best thing I find to do is to just run warm water through that lower part, the nib, and when you put your new cartridge back in, it usually works a treat. So I'm using the Lamy just to give me an outline again. I'm looking at the tulips again. It's just another drawing tool. You could use a biro here, you could use a fine liner, whatever you're comfortable with. I try to find a different way of holding the pen. It will give me a slightly different mark, something unexpected. I think it's really good to keep trying to find different marks, different outcomes with your same tools. The tulips have sidetracked me. In fact, I read in the comments, why don't you put some lovely tulips on one of the tables in your interiors? And I had trolley envy in the supermarket. I saw a lady with some tulips and thought, my God, where did she get those from? They are absolutely my favourite spring bulb tulips. I adore them. I love the way they're just relaxed. I love them. So I thought, before I attempt to put tulips into one of the interiors, I'll have a play in Sketchbook, and I could stop here, but you know what's coming, the white paint. I don't want to stop here. I've taken a photograph. I can always get to this stage. So I want to see what might happen if I just distort things a little bit and have a bit more of a play. So that's what I propose to do. If you get to this stage and you're happy with it, then stop. There's no rule, there's no anything that says you need to keep going. For me, I can't help scratch the itch. I just like to see where it could go if I push it a bit further. So I'll be keeping my eye out now, paying more attention to the floral area in the super. I've got one of the small tubes of yellow, and I'm using it. Most yellows work fantastically as a glaze. The idea here is to just put down areas of colour fairly randomly, and I can then, when it's dry, work back in or leave areas that I decide work quite well. So as well as scraping over white paint on this page, I'm going in with a little bit of that yellow, and I really like the effect. It doesn't have to be an all over colour. You can just place some glaze where you want to, or you might decide to glaze the whole page. This is a woody pencil that I've been dipping into water. I love the way they run when they're wet. I like the intense colour payout when they're wet. And I quite like them. I like the effect when they're dry as well. You can, if you get too carried away and too much wet, too much on the page, you can always take tissue while it's wet and just mop up a bit and remove what you don't want. I try an orange woody, and I'm not mad keen on that, so I can just lift that quite easily. Here comes a real big load of white paint, and I put a lot down, but I have no intention of using all of that. So I just pull down vertically. You can see in these areas it's quite opaque, and then you scratch back through and you get more transparency. And what's left, it's mixed with the black, and it gives me another ground for another page. And I know that's just sitting there, and it will wait for me to decide what to do with it at a later date. So there's no waste. I have time for that page to dry, the colourful page dries, and that enables me just to go in wherever I feel like I want to just amp up the colour. So I quite like keeping some of the washed back area contrasting with a more amplified colour application. I've put a little bit more on the chair. I've really enjoyed, I've got to share these. I'm so happy with my swatches. I've got these, this is how far I am. Blues, oranges, so many greens, some nice yellow, golden yellow greens. They're all there. So I can't wait. I can get those into the cabin and put them on hooks and keep going. Yellows, I'm thinking yellows. And then yesterday I thought, my God, I haven't done cards in absolutely ages. I took a photograph from my sketchbook and put it into a black and white filter. And then last night just put a little bit of colour into it. Hi everyone, so coming to the end then, I've had a busy week this week. I feel like I've lost a couple of days and I'm chasing my tail, worrying now about editing and uploading in time for Thursday. So ending here, last night I went back in, I couldn't resist going back in, and I thought, I'll just see. It's Sketchbook, it's a place to play. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't work out. I'm still learning. But I'm quite happy with the black, and I will no doubt spend more time with these pages. I also, I put down the spare, that's the spare paint, white paint that mixed with some of the black, the wet black woody pencil, gave me a lovely delicate, oh, it's a lovely velvety pale grey. And I found an image. I got sidetracked yesterday with magazines. What I think I do with the magazines, because there's something about collage material from a magazine, for me it's a bit too shiny, but I still cut it, and then in my mind I think I'll try and repeat that myself on my own papers. Anyway, I was going through magazines and I found an image I quite liked of some pretty wacky chairs. So I'll drop the picture in, I had a go at that as well. I'm coming really close to the end of this sketchbook, and I've had comments about always comments about which sketchbook, and I've got 1 or 2 in reserve, new ones in the cabin. Very soon I'll work up a new sketchbook cover. So if you haven't painted a sketchbook cover, that might be a good thing to watch. Right, I'm really waffling off. Okay, so have a fantastic week, everyone. Get swatching, and and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye for now.